What's up? We got The Flash, Season 1, Episode 4, Going Rogue. So this episode starts off with Barry, with another one of Barry's monologues, because the show loves doing that. Yeah, only the fourth episode, I know, but still the show loves having Barry monologue. So Barry explains that on his day off, he would normally... What does the fast man alive do on his day off normally? He would just be chilling at his home. But now, since that way, he's got some friends. Caitlin and Cisco and Wells, and they're all playing. He defeats them at he defeats Caitlin at Operation, defeats Cisco at ping pong, but Wells is able to defeat him in chess. So yeah, but then Barry gets no, but then they get an alert about. Then they get an alert. Oh, an alert about. Yeah, they get an alert about about criminals stealing or attacking armored trucks. But then one of the guys is killed as a police officer. But then Barry defeats them all, and one of the guys reveals his mask to reveal that's Michael Scofield. Yeah, it's Wentworth Miller. Hey, from Prison Break. And, yeah. So, yeah. So, Barry and Iris are talking, and actually Barry and Joe are talking, and saying, hey, he stopped the truck thieves, and he's like, hey, Barry's like, yeah, I like this joke. Barry's like, hey, what the red street and stops, and he's like, I think he needs another name. What about the Flash? And then Iris decides to pop in, and Joe's like, whatever, I don't need to be in the scene. And she said, oh yeah, that's his. That's Joe's. He's mad, but he doesn't want to show that he's mad at fate. And Barry and Iris are talking about the streak, but then it's like, what if people attack them? And then Felicity shows up, and she's like, she's dealt with a lot of that, a lot of nerd rage, and it's like, glad Felicity's in this episode, but why is she in this episode? We get to learn to it when Barry asks her, but yeah. So he introduced her to Iris, and Felicity's like, that's where the lightning struck you, and Barry's like, yeah. And yeah, so oh yeah. So she said you couldn't just race over to Starling City, and he's like, you know? And she's like, yeah, sure. And she heard him and Oliver talking on that Starling City rooftop. Okay, Felicity. I know it's meant to be a joke, but okay, Felicity. Yeah, you heard them. You heard them on that rooftop. Okay, yeah. So he's like, so Felicity again meets the Star Labs team and Dr. Wells, and yeah, so they say about, and he's like, yeah, and Barry's like, Felicity works with the Arrow, and he's like, and Cisco's like, do you know who the Arrow is, Barry? And he's like, and he's like, yeah. So then Dr. Wells shows up. She's like, is, yeah, so let me see where Snart, and he's talking to one of his guys, and the guy's like, he's out. And then Snart, after, so Snart review, so Snart's guy is able to pick himself a gun, which is called the cold gun, and yeah, the cold gun, is that what it's called in the comic? Yeah, and who made this device? Cisco, because, yeah, Cisco made the freeze device, and somehow, without any yeah, Star Labs really needs some security, because this guy was able to walk into Star Labs, steal Cisco's device, and not even no one Cisco does know it's missing, but how did Star Labs notice? Well, maybe they weren't there, but yeah, yeah. So Felicity tries, Iris thinks that Barry likes Felicity, and since she doesn't have a boyfriend, she would be perfect for him. Iris, this dude likes you. I don't think he wants you. I know that he did say that Felicity wasn't in the era, wasn't Oliver. She should be interested in him, but I'm just saying. Iris, yeah. Also, so Joe and Eddie are trying to figure out how to talk about it, and they're talking about their relationship, and yeah. So Eddie, Iris, and Felicity and Barry have a thing at Jitters where they go, where they go and do a trivia thing as E equals MC Hammer. That's the name they picked. And that's the name they picked, and that's the name that people. Yeah, so Captain Cold with the cool goggles and the suit and the everything attacks a museum where a diamond is. She steals the diamond, but Barry's not slow enough to save Usher, and that guy dies, and Barry blames himself, but Cisco's like, yo, dude, he made the gun, and yeah, and he's like, when he made it, he didn't know Barry. What if he turned out to be a crazy guy, like Martin or Kyle Nimbus? And Barry's like, he didn't. And he's like, you could have told him. And now a guy died. And Cisco's like, that's on him. So yeah, so Felicity's like, Cisco made one mistake. You think that Oliver, her, Dick, and Oliver were thrown together? No, Oliver chose them one by one. So yeah, so Barry turned off his earpiece and goes to fight Snart, and he's like, yeah, and she's like, hey, you need to help Barry. She's like, Barry doesn't want her help, and he's like, Barry said he didn't want your help because he thinks he doesn't want your help, but he really wants your help. So yeah, so he's like, if she had every time Oliver told her to back off, she'd be rich as Oliver Queen. If Oliver was rich, because he isn't anymore. So yeah, so Barry fights Snart, but then Cisco shows up, thinking, not wanting to protect Barry, saying, yeah, and start saying Captain Cold. Yeah, and yeah, so he lets him go, and Cisco reveals that it was just the Star Labs vacuum cleaner. So yeah, so Felicity leaves, but so Iris confronts Joe about dating Eddie, and Joe's like, hey, the dude's my partner. If something happens to him, I will, and I'm there. I'm not gonna think of him as his partner. He's gonna think of him as her boyfriend. Yeah. So yeah. So Felicity and Barry kiss, and Barry speeds off. So yeah. That's the episode. It was really good, and I'll see you next time for some more Flash.